Good morning and welcome to KidNuz. I'm Tori. Today is Wednesday, August 24th, 2022. And we begin with a Belgian-British teenager taking his place in aviation history. Overnight, Daredevil Mac Rutherford was expected to touch down in Bulgaria, the final stop on his round-the-world journey and the destination that will land him in the record books as the youngest person to fly around the globe solo. He started 5 months ago, traveled through 52 countries on 5 continents, and to meet Guinness World Records requirements, crossed the equator twice. The whole adventure was supposed to take 3 months, but ended up lasting 5. He even celebrated his 17th birthday along the way. Mac joins his sister Zara, who at 19 became the youngest female to fly alone around the planet. As their proud dad told reporters, Mac and Zara prove that you don't need to be 30 or even 18 to follow your dreams. 2 space photographers are doing their cosmic best to help hype the Artemis mission that's now just days away. Last weekend, they released what they're calling the most ridiculously detailed image of the moon, with its craters and colors shown in stunning close-up. Andrew McCarthy and Connor Mathern spent 2 years creating their 174-megapixel masterpiece. It's called The Hunt for Artemis, is available to anyone who wants it, and is a tribute to Monday's planned launch from Cape Canaveral, Florida. Barring bad weather or equipment issues, the massive 322-foot rocket and its capsule of space mannequins is all systems go for blastoff between 8:33 and 10:30 in the morning on the 29th. It'll collect data as it laps the moon and returns to Earth 42 days later. Tail wagging and zoomies are 2 telltale signs of a happy dog, but are tears of joy another? Some scientists believe so. According to a study published this week in Current Biology, dogs seem to get misty when they're reunited with their favorite humans. The researchers observed 22 dogs, and overall, the pups' tear production increased when their owners returned home after a long day away. The scientists suspect the why is connected to the emotional bond they share with those who take care of them. This could be a scientific breakthrough in understanding dog emotions, but not all experts are convinced and agree further evidence is needed. The future is now, at least for one Tesla fanatic. Brandon Delali says he's simplified the issue of unlocking his car once and for all by having an electronic chip implanted in his hand. Now, to get in, he just touches his ride when he gets close. The technology is similar to the tap-to-pay feature that powers Apple Pay on iPhones. Brandon says he's part of a beta group of about 100 people who are testing implanted chips for all sorts of apps before they are released to the public. And this isn't his first implant rodeo. He also inserted a chip in his other hand a few years ago that stores keys to his house, important contacts, and his vaccination card. Brandon might have to load some new COVID information on that chip. Pfizer has asked the FDA to give emergency use authorization to a newfangled shot targeting Omicron variants. Moderna is expected to do the same. If the vaccines are quickly approved, the government is expected to launch a big campaign for Americans to get boosted this fall. In other KidNuz notes, a high school in Washington County, Illinois, has come up with a novel way to get moms of its football players more engaged in the game. The boys stand still, holding a football, while their biggest supporters suit up in helmets and pads and try to tackle them. At least 5 moms gave it a go, with 4 of them successfully drilling their sons into a giant mat. The other was outmatched by her oversized offspring and bounced backwards. The tackling tryout is part of Washington's annual Mom's Night. So far, more than 2 million people have watched the bonding exercise online. Also back on the field, Tom Brady. The Buccaneers quarterback returned to practice Monday after taking 11 days off for a personal matter. The Twitterverse has been buzzing with speculation about where he was and why. One report had him going undercover for The Masked Singer, while the Pro Football Network says he went to the Bahamas with his family to find a work-life balance. The only one who really knows, however, is Mr. Brady himself, and so far, he's not talking. That's it for KidNuz. Now, today's KidNuz quiz. How many times did Mac Rutherford cross the equator? twice. 2 astrophotographers created a ridiculously detailed image of what? The moon. A new study finds that happy dogs might do what? Cry tears of joy. A Tesla owner had what implanted in his hand? A chip that unlocks his car. In today's Kid News Kicker, it's the find of a lifetime. While vacationing in South Carolina, an 8-year-old and his family took a guided fossil hunting trip, hoping to dig up some history. Riley Grace can certainly check that box. He found a 4 3/4-inch prehistoric shark tooth likely belonging to an Angustidan megatooth that swam the seas millions of years ago. Paleontologists believe that species grew to a whopping 31 feet, which is more than double the size of today's average great white. Before we go, we want to shout out our terrific Kid News teachers, starting with Ms. Butterfield and her Trojans at West Central in Francisville, Indiana. To California for Mrs. Scudder and her Stars at Thomas Jefferson in Roseville, and Ms. Castillo and her Thunderbirds at Alicia Ray's in Merced. Mom Chirinos and her Pugs at the Chirinos Academy in Sarasota Springs, Utah. And Mrs. Stone and her Roaring Lions at Sedalia Elementary in Mayfield, Kentucky. Thanks for listening. Please consider a donation to keep us on the air and ad-free. And we'll see you back here for more Kid News tomorrow morning.